It's time for the Gettin Outdoors podcast, Town Country United Bank Lake Millers Ferry Weekend Hunting and Fishing Report. Our weekly update on water conditions, ramp events, generating schedule, what's biting, and seasonal hunting information with outdoor reporters Joe Allen Dunn, Kevin Sims, and Shane Jones. This weekly hunting and fishing report is brought to you by the good folks at Town Country United Bank in Camden, Alabama, serving their customers for over 40 years. Town Country United Bank's highest priority is satisfied customers. Now, here's your weekend Lake Millers Ferry hunting and fishing report.
Bigfoot, baby. Another one on the B&B Silver Shade. Team Bigfoot in the house.
Shane Jones, Crockett Fish. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report for the Gettin Outdoors podcast number 201. I got my outdoor reporter Shane Jones and Kevin Sims in the studio. Shane's in his studio. Joe Allen had to go to the doctor in Mobile today, but he'll be back next week. We're going to talk about him anyway. Shane, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Doing good.
Kevin, how you doing, man? We missed you last week. We're going to talk about that trip you and Jamie went on in a minute. But first off, I want to thank Dr. Will Gooseby and Dr. Marcus Lashley. I have never enjoyed a conversation with scientists more than I just enjoyed talking with those guys about their new Turkeys for Tomorrow Wild Turkey Science podcast that we'll be dropping this week. And those guys told me after the podcast, they fixing to poke the bear, Kevin. They fixing to bring up stuff and debunk stuff that's never been done in the turkey science world before, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, if they not on point, I bet you it's a couple thousand people that'll call them.
That's what they want. That's what they want. You know, they are combining their research with every biologist in Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. They're not just limited to one place. They covering the whole Southeast, and I think that's what needed to be done. I'm looking forward to it, and all that information will be in the details of this podcast. All right, now we were talking a while ago before the show, and of all the jugging contests that we have had in the last few years, Kevin, me and you, and we're the only ones that ever actually won one of them, you know.
That's right.
So I wanted to play this. You wasn't here last week, so I wanted to play this for you. Let me find, here it is. This right here is just this was one of the, if not the most funnest jugging trips I ever been on, and I didn't do nothing but drive the boat. But having Kevin in the boat is something. Y'all watch this. All right, Kevin, we've got a little fog delay this morning. What's the game plans today?
We headed to Buzz Roost. Gonna put the smack down on the big blue can.
Get up and let everybody see that smackdown jersey, son.
That's nice, ain't it?
Whoa! Don't force him. That's a good one there, son. Got him. That's a good one, Kev.
First one, 2023, smackdown.
Now that right there is what you call putting the smackdown on, Kev. That was a fun day.
It was good.
We'll talk about it in a minute. I tried to call the Millers Ferry Powerhouse and the Jones Bluff Powerhouse. I don't know if they got gates open or they're running. All the telephones are down. They cut some fiber optic cable up in Selma, cleaning up that tornado mess, and all our telephones and internet is down here. But we do want to shout out to all the tornado victims in Dallas and Otago. Well, it went all the way across the state from Sumter County all the way across, but
I was in Tennessee and it affected us too.
It really nailed our friends up there in Selma and Otago County.
I told me one of the tornadoes stayed on the ground 20 miles. They said one stayed on the ground for 80 miles. That's unheard of.
That old Todd Prater just tuned in. Maybe I can get him to come on with me Friday morning and we'll update all the stuff in Selma going on, Todd, if you ain't doing that. Michael Hilly is tuned in. He knows how to catch them catfish. Freddie over in Meridian. My sister, Alice Lawler Sheffield, is tuned in out in Federal Way, Washington. Mike Presley, the old pole bender. Jared Hudson. We're going to talk about that Elvis Roberts coon hunt. Wayne Edgeworth is tuned in. Al and Brooke Smith up at Lock 5. Jared, Noonan Hall. Bud Williamson. Old Bud killed some, got him some skillet meat this week.
Mom was watching there. David and Dottie watching.
Miss Dottie and Dave is tuned in. My cousin Jim Andrews, and appreciate all of y'all tuning in. We got a whole lot to go over. Like I said, the Millers Ferry Powerhouse in Jones Bluff, don't know what they're doing. I do know the river temperature is 52 to 54 degrees. Is that what it is in Demopolis, Shane? About the same?
Yeah, that's what it was. About 51 in the river. It gets up to 52, 53,
Well, right now, and I was talking to Joe Allen yesterday, it is transition. Joe Allen said it's transitioning right now, but I think we're in the heart of wintertime fishing right now. I don't think the transition has begun. When will the transition begin? When that water starts warming up, Shane?
Yeah, you got warm nights in February, Big Daddy, because the eggs are getting there, and same way with the bass, Kevin, to tell you, their eggs are getting a little head too, and once them veins start getting in them, and you'll start catching those males will start having a little black on their gills. When the hormones are starting to get up there, that's when they're transitioning. The fish will tell you when they're doing it. Normally it's in February. You get a couple warm nights, and them males. I caught some males the other day. You could just see a little black in them. Once you got them in some clear water, out of that muddy water, you can see their cheeks. So in February is a big transition month, big time.
Yeah. Usually the last 2 weeks of February when they start moving to the bank in Millers Ferry.
Yeah, them older fish, they know that this is too early, and it's probably another hard cold coming that's going to bring that water temperature back down. But I like to. I mean, it's really unheard of for it to be this warm. I mean, we was in Tennessee and it wasn't but 45, and it got back up to 50. Like he said, the day or two before we got there, it got right up to 50 degrees, and it's normally supposed to be in the like 39, 40. Like
it wasn't warm Saturday, I'll tell you that. Not that morning. Woo.
No, it was bad. It was bad cold.
It was cold.
Pete Manon wanted to know how they come along with the marina. Pete, the last conversation I had with the owners, they had got all the permits with the Corps intact, signed, sealed, and delivered, and they were going to start turning dirt after the first of the year. I hadn't been down there. I don't know if they do.
I haven't been down there
or not, but he told me that after the first of the year they were going to get on that marina project, and I'm really looking forward to it because the Corps had them held up for a long time. All right, let's go over the Town Country United Bank weekend hunting and fishing report. We're going to start off with the catfish. First of 2 catfish jugging contests sponsored by CT Ward Power Sports and Dunn Sports is coming up February the 18th. That's 3 weeks from Saturday. Kevin, you and who's going to fish with you?
Lauderdale.
Y'all going to still be Team Sim?
Well, we'll be Team Sim Lauderdale,
okay,
probably.
Okay.
Or DNA or DNS or something.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. But now, do you think that the jugging February the 18th, like we did on the first of the year, going to be the same, or are you going to change tactics?
Oh no, it's gonna be the same, but probably different location.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we videoed all that. Everybody knows where that was, and we did not really get them big pigs. But now we was probably 2 weeks early because of the water, like it was, because of the the bait we saw. It was just sporadic, just pop here, and then you wouldn't see nothing for 2 hours. And I don't know if it was the lack of bait or they just hadn't moved back up in those flats yet. But the big sows is the temperature. It's going to make them rush in there with it keeps going because they know the cats, they don't want to spawn in 58, 60 degrees. They want to spawn where it's cooler, So they're going to rush up in there in these shallow flats, and that's where that's my deal right there. Get in there with them shallow water, get in the dirt and catch one.
I fished the G's Bend Slough, I fished the Gold Mine, and I fished Liddell Slough and those stick ups by the bridge Sunday, and I didn't see any shad, Shane. No shade.
Oh yeah, that's where I was also on the upper part in that tournament we were in.
And
there was a few shad up in Swift, but there was none. And I went through a bunch. I covered some water Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know what the water conditions are out there, Kevin. Do you know? Is it up and down? Is it fall? I'm sure it's falling. Whatever it's doing.
When I come across the bridge, it was current, of course. But it didn't look bad. You're below the dam. Mm-hmm. It had a decent color to it. The sun was still shining on it. It wasn't green, but it didn't look brown either. I mean, it didn't look muddy. It didn't look cloudy. So I'm sure it may have a little tint to it.
Well, it had that muddy, that looked like chocolate milk rolling.
Make a track. I think it's a little better now, because just looking at the levels, I think they probably started closing the gates. So it's probably finna get back right.
But these tight liners catfishing, they ought to be able to get in that river and catch, do some tight lining. Yeah. Old Big Mama Bryant done bought him that brand new, I think it's a 24-foot or 28-foot boat, look like a yacht. He going to light it up like a beer joint. Jason Domain's on here. He done started him a new jig company, and we going to sure help him out. I tell you, him and Ryan, I believe all they do now is tie jigs. Every time I cut Facebook,
Jason, he's making jigs now.
Yeah, he's making
Jason is. Oh yeah, I got a box of them in the boat.
Yeah, but all right, that's enough for catfishing. Let's talk about crappie fishing, Shane. I would have lost money on you Saturday. So let me tell you the story. I'll have to tell this.
Go ahead.
Because he's got an excuse because he went Sunday to go out with somebody that knows that upper river as good as anybody, old Dennis Willett. Dennis Willett's been in the boat with all them pros, and he was going to show Shane around, show him some places. Shane drove 100 miles, met Dennis at Swift Creek Landing, and he forgot some valuable gear.
Because I couldn't mark nothing. If I'd have just brought one, I could have just marked the spots. A live scope ain't no, disaster, but I left every electronic I had and hit right in there on the ship. It's sitting right over there right now.
Drove 100 miles, forgot all. Yeah,
but hey,
Shane, when you mine in Big Dad's age, they got a name for it. Now, I don't know what they call it whenever you show age.
hey, the good thing is I come back to finish that story, grabbed my units, and told Richard we were going. So we drove another 100 miles to the Demopolis and went and caught 30 and come home.
Well, let me tell you my story.
Grudge fishing.
Let me tell you my story Sunday. And I went up into Liddell Slough. I got in there about 3 o'clock. And I put my trolling motor down and I fish, and on on your live scope, you got your battery voltage on there, you know, and it was at 12.2, stayed 12.2. And when I got ready to leave, I pulled everything up and I got in the seat and wah, wah. I said, oh, no. I kind of panicked a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But I said, well, I wasn't far from Bill Couple's boat ramp. So I called Miss D. I said, I'm finna leave my boat at your boat ramp. And I called my brother, Tommy, to come pick me up. And I got around there. I got all my stuff ready to get out of the boat and everything. And I looked hanging down. I could see the kill switch ring.
I've done that before.
Kill switch out. So I put it back in. I went back on to the landing. So
everybody's done it. Everybody's done it.
I've done it. I got it side and got up and pulled it out with my life jacket.
Well, I tell you what, I was mighty, mighty proud of those guys that did catch fish Saturday, Brandon and Aaron. I tell you, that's the first time I'd been around Aaron. And he was a nice guy, nice fisherman, very good. I got to meet John Fallman, his wife, and Joe, Joe P. something.
Oh, Joe Potenza, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
Yeah, he's from Georgia. He fishes with Brandon a good bit. He does some guiding over on Lake Oconee and over there in Georgia. He catches a stew out of them too. And that guy Keith and his son that put that Crappie Masters tournament on, they told me, I'm not going to spill the beans what they told me, Kevin, but I can tell you in 2024 those guys are doing it like it's supposed to be done. They done a great job. That was fun, man. That's a good group of guys. That was fun. Fishing was tough, but it was fun.
Brian Taylor just tuned in. We were just talking about Brian, his new boat. Can't wait to see it out there on that water. Now, Shane, talk about that day, though. What did you do wrong? You weighed in. You came in 9th place, but you didn't weigh in but 3 fish.
That's correct. Well, Friday I got down there. Me and Richard tore out of here Friday. Hopefully get down there a little bit before dark just to look around because I've never been on that part of the river. So I got out at Swift Creek, and this wind is blowing 30 mile an hour plus. Yeah. And I got out there on the main river, and I was like, look, I'm just going to go to a dock or creek or something. And the good Lord blessed me, and I went to a dock, and it had fish on it. There wasn't no way I could fish it, but I did see some fish on it. I said, hey, Richard, we're going there. But I'm not kidding when there was 3 and 4 foot waves on that river, and that's no exaggeration coming back in. It was – because we had to be off the water by 5, and about 3:30 we turned around, and 4 o'clock, excuse me, we turned around. It was – man, it was like riding in the ocean.
How'd that War Eagle handle that water?
It did good, man. We ran 25 mile an hour, and aluminum boat, it does good. And we got in, and they done the meeting at 6 o'clock. So me and Richard trailered the boat down to Swift Creek. A lot of people put in Swift Creek. There was 23 boats, and a bunch of them put in down there. And we got our dock, ran to the dock, and I'm not exaggerating. Richard actually bear hugged the post of the pier where the wind was blowing so hard where I could turn the scope in there and shoot under this pier and catch. I caught a 155, which I thought, man, it's on. And when I caught that fish, there was a couple more big ones with them. They kind of dispersed. And I was like, well, heck. And I caught another one, and it was a small little 11-inch fish. And I checked some tops, and I went across and looked at the ledge. And where I messed up, I went downriver, hoping I could find some more fish, and I went through about 6 or 7 creeks. And I flew through there just looking, no shad, no fish. Yeah. I should have stayed in that creek and just picked those fish off as they moved up to that dock. And that's what I should have done. Because everybody I talked to that done well, they fished one little area, and that's where they caught their fish.
Yeah. Well, then Sunday, you went to Demopolis and smoked them.
Oh, yeah, I put it on Sunday. Hey, this is no kidding. We caught 22 fish in 11 minutes.
Really?
That's as fast as you can catch them. And I'll tell you, we put 37 in a boat. I think it was about 11 o'clock. I was texting some friends of mine. And after that, we ate lunch, and them fish just quit. I mean, we caught 40 that fast. And they literally, like somebody pulled the plug on them. It was crazy. The conditions didn't change, or as far as the temperature, it started warming up, but they just quit.
They quit on Millers Ferry. I didn't get a bite, and I talked to several people. You talked to anybody that caught any fish this weekend?
No, the only person I talked to, he had a tough day Saturday. He fished till about 11 o'clock.
Saturday's bad. I don't think 23 boats, 9 of them weighed in nothing. And we weighed 3 fish in. I was going to weigh them because we worked our tail off of them 3.
Yeah.
We come in 9th with 3 fish. You're supposed to weigh in 7. So
yeah.
And I think Jason, the man, he done good. They finished in the top 10. I know.
He finished one place out of the money. Jason did.
Yeah, he did. They done good. And they got to do a little pre-fishing. And one of my other buddies, he pre-fished for a couple of days. And he weighed in 1 fish. And then another one of my buddies, he didn't catch a fish for 2 days. So it got rough. You know,
and they made the announcement last week also. We might have talked about it. I don't believe we did. They made the announcement that the Mr. Crappie 300,000 Invitational is going to be at Logan Martin in September. So it is off limits now for everybody that's going to fish in that tournament.
That's right. Till the 17th of September.
The Alabama Crappie Masters were going to have their championship. So now they're going to have to move it. I don't know if he's made the announcement yet, but I know this. I know them folks from Elmore County were at the weigh-in, and they was wanting him there. Now
that commissioner was sitting there with us Friday night while we were meeting.
Yeah, he
wanted to know how much money we were spending, and I really didn't want to pay attention to it because I had to buy a new life jacket and a lot of stuff. And before I knew it, me and Richard done spent $600 right there.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that you get 23 people doing that, or 25, 50 people. It contributes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's why that guy was super nice. But I got a fair warning that river up there is real tough in January to a lot of people. So congratulations to like Brandon Threadgill and Aaron and them. They catching. I think Aaron had 1260 and Brandon had 1250 something.
Yeah,
they caught some nice fish.
One was a 215 and I think a 233 on the.
Yes, sir. I think he won. Aaron won $2,200. It's not a bad little payday.
That ain't bad for a 23 boat tournament.
He done really well. Elmore.
You left too soon because they gave away probably $1,000, $1,200.
Oh yeah. Shoot, man, I was wore out for 2 days of that, buddy. I knew I was going Sunday. And I was wore out.
I know Jason won $200 or a gift certificate to some bait company. Genco, $200.
Oh yeah, they gave away. Make sure that Genco had one.
All right, well, y'all are going to talk a minute about that benefit tournament that you're going to fish with the Crappie Masters champion.
Oh yeah, what you talking about?
You fishing with him? Talk about
anytime one of the top 5 crappie fishermen in the world says, "Hey, we need to fish together." Guess what? Hey, I probably won't sleep a wink come Friday night. I'm actually going to his place to stay Friday, and then we're going to get up and go to Eufaula. The Peach State Crappie Club, Scott Williams. Anybody has any questions or want to donate? I got some information. One of their members' wives come down with brain cancer, if I'm not correct. I think I'm correct on that. And they changed the tournament to an open tournament because they're raising money for the lady and the couple, because they're having a hard time with all that. So they've got an auction on Scott Williams' page. It's a public auction. I gave away a guide trip. Ryan Willis, John Fulmer, Eric Cagle. There's 2 or 3 other guys from Georgia. People are bidding on them. I think the bidding's still open till it's going to start Friday. So I think it ends Friday, and people's bidding on those. It's for a great cause, and also you get to go on a fishing trip with one of us, and it's just a good benefit. But we're going to go over there and fish that tournament. It's at Lake Eufaula. But anybody has any questions, they can message me. There's a Venmo where you can send money in for it also. But it's just a good cause, and heck, anytime I can go fishing and help somebody out, I'm going.
And you and Eric got a little history anyway. He's the one that kind of turned you on to crappie fishing.
Oh yeah, he's the one that changed the game for me. I went out with him close to 4 years ago, and he made me what I am now. So you just take it, and the information he gives you, and you run with it, and you got to work at it. But it's just like anything else. Somebody's got to guide you a little bit.
Yeah. I got my cousin Jim Andrews wanted to know about why all the tornadoes. He didn't remember when he was young. I remember tornadoes all my life. I remember the first big one I went to was in Brent, Alabama. I think I might have been 16 or 17 years old and was in the junior rescue squad. And we went to Brent, Alabama, and it tore Brent up. So they've been coming through here. I don't know why you don't remember them.
I remember the tornado, but I do not remember them this late in the year.
Yeah, when the winter January is very unusual.
They've changed patterns so much. Oak Grove over here by my house, it used to be it used to be all the time. Now they're starting to shift down towards Utah and Akron and stuff, and going across the state that way.
Yeah, Tuscaloosa used to be where they hit all the time, but anyway, our thoughts and prayers are going out to everybody that was affected by them. All right, crappie fishing on Millers Ferry. What we're gonna do? How can I catch a crappie on Millers Ferry this weekend, Shane?
Oh, you just hope and pray the water slows down, because I'll drop a little secret to everybody that's on Big Daddy's page. If you watch this show, I'm gonna drop a secret every week I'm on here. If that water slows down, them black crappie gonna bunch up, and if you can find them, you'll catch them.
Mm-hmm.
The water's got to slow down where they can get on some brush. They may school up somewhere, but I'm learning more and more when that water slows down, they treat it just like a lake. You know, it can be running 1.5. When I say slow down, I'm talking about 1.5 mile an hour. It's still moving. You're going to see some current, but it's not going 4 or 5 mile an hour. But if it does slow down, they will try to bunch back up. And when it speeds up and does it, them fish just scatter. It's a hard pattern, just like we fished Saturday.
Yeah.
But if it slows down, you better be looking at some of them big trees and some of your tops. They're going to be some big fish resting in those trees while they're schooling, because they want to feed. That's what they want to do.
Yeah. Ryan Gunn's tuned in here, the old fish master. He ain't doing. I don't believe he worked. I believe he just making jigs.
He posts a lot of jigs, don't he?
What about the Demopolis?
The Demopolis is getting. Look, I've seen a lot of fish in the Demopolis. They're starting to get there. Anytime that water gets 53, 54 degrees, your creeks, I've seen a lot of fish, even where I caught them fish, they were shallow. And even the next creek I went in, they were shallow. Mm-hmm. So those creeks that hold fish in the spring, they're already in there trying to do a little something. And like I said, I've seen some small fish, and I've seen some pretty good fish in them too, but I couldn't get them to bite after that, after lunchtime. But they're starting to get where people like them, as long as it don't blow it out again.
Did you try that dead minnow on the jig?
I did. I'll tell you what I done, Big Daddy. And I learned a little something. I used to hook those minnows through the mouth, through the lips.
Yeah.
I started tail hooking that minnow, not on his tail, but towards about midway from about behind his dorsal fin, where it wouldn't kill him. And it's pretty weedless that way. I didn't realize it. So when those fish shut off, I hooked that minnow, put me a little split shot on there, and you watch that live scope, and I'll walk that minnow through that tree. And I picked up about 10 fish doing that.
Yeah.
And even some shallow fish, but I had a little small split shot. But I didn't realize I used a regular gold Aberdeen hook, but I hooked that minnow, not midways, but towards his tail, but not on his tail, and that kind of made it a little weedless. Not totally, but I didn't get hung up, and I was surprised how it came through that timber like that. Mm-hmm. But I picked up a few fish, and I'm just experimenting those minnows. I've never been a minnow fishing a lot, but hey, I'm gonna start keeping them on my boat just for stuff like that.
Well, you got a good minnow bucket, so you might as well.
Right, but I'll tell you, I learned something there. Hooking that minnow like that, I was shocked. Like I said, I caught several fish. People realize even when you're crappie fishing without live scope, there's so many hot fish in the tree, and you're gonna catch those. And then the other fish are not gonna be as hot, and you got to work them fish, go down in them, or go towards the bottom, or come a certain angle at them or something. The live scope just shows you all that.
That's right. All right, let's go to bass fishing. And I this picture right here, Shane, I wish we'd have had a GoPro on that fishing trip right there.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Tell us about that.
Well, that we got out there that morning. We got in the boat, and
now what lake were y'all on?
We did Chickamauga. I was up at the Chick, and we left out the landing right there, and Cole said we just going right out here on the riverbank.
Now that's Cole
Sands
fishing. He is a bass
elite
pro rookie this year.
Yes, he went through the 9 opens and qualified, tied for number. Well, I think he was actually tied for 2, but he's 3. What they said, but he'll be fishing the elites next year on TV and fishing for the big money. And anyway, we got out there, and the water is it's just unfathomable how low they pull that lake down. Mm-hmm. I mean, like Cole was he had to bow hog it to get the boat off trailer, because you couldn't back down not one more inch. You'd been off the concrete. I mean, and it's we went down through there probably a mile to find a place to get into the river from there. And then we got in the river and went up there, you know, and the grass, it's different than our grass. It'd be like, at one time, the water was 10 foot deeper, and that grass was all the way to the top. Well, as the water goes down, it just piles it up on the bottom and vines stuff. But it, like, your bait will stay clean. You throw it up there in the edge of that grass and reel it to it bog down and kind of pull it out there, and it won't be none on your bait. It'll it'll break when you pull it out there. You know, it don't like moss your bait up. And we was throwing a 5-inch swim bait, a 3.5-inch swim bait, and like I said, the one I had.
So y'all wasn't fishing the A-rig?
We did, not there. We did throw that when we went up in the creek, and but the weather had deteriorated so bad right then. It was like that was right when the tornado started hitting up there where we was at in outside of Dayton.
Yeah, y'all were there on Thursday, right?
That's right. And that mine weighed 6.5. Jamie's weighed around 6, and he was his fish probably would have weighed 8. He was in terrible shape. He was poor, and you see his fin all eat up. And that's the good side. The other side looked like he done got hit by a boat or something. He was rough. And Cole's was 5.5 or 6. And we told him, he was standing up there just telling us where to throw. We told him just go on fish. I said, we didn't come up here just for you to just take us, go fishing. And he picked him a rod up. And he was throwing some new baits that he was going to try out. And he caught that one. We caught 9 fish, had 1 get off. But we didn't probably fish. It was daylight about 10 minutes to 8. You know, they're an hour in difference from us. And we about 10:30, we moved into a creek. We hadn't had a bite in about an hour. So we really caught those 10 fish in probably hour and a half, 2 hours. We moved in there, and we was throwing he said, throw your A-rigs in here. And he said, steak bed over there. And I think the first 3 casts, me and Jamie got hung up. And then we let it go. He said, don't let it go down about 2 foot. And I started to ask him, well, how am I going to know how far it went? I ain't never timed this daggum A-rig, but I'll throw it out there. And we got hung up. We probably boogered up the spot a little bit, but anyway, about that time, the wind hit and it went to raining sideways and lightning popping everywhere. And we got up we stayed in a boathouse for 2 hours till the rain quit and made us a run. And we ended up taking out, we had a little business to take care of. Went and seen some stores, dropped off some baits and stuff like that. But it really was. I mean, Cole said that we was going to have we're going to have 5 fish weigh 30 pounds. We had 5 that weighed 20, but he said if we'd have got to fish all day, we'd have had a 30-pound sack.
The ABT 100 kicks off this weekend at Wadowee. I don't know anything about Wadowee Lake.
I don't even know where it's at.
That's the first time they've been there, so I'm going to keep up with that.
Yeah, Leon and Trey could be there.
Leon and Trey will be fishing in it, and I'll sure be watching them live on the Alabama Bass Trail live Saturday morning. All right, if you're going bass fishing this weekend, Kevin, what's going on out there now?
Well, the unseasonably warm. And the river is, may or may not be in play depending on the current and all that. I still think you're gonna better find some big spots. And them spots, it's time for them to start bowing up and getting fat. Get ready for spawn. Largemouth, you're gonna see fish moving into your probably your best bet to be the larger creeks where you got diverse, you got a little deep water, you got secondary points like some of your flatter ones. It's probably you might find a few male fish in there, but the big sows probably not going to get too far up in there like like a gold mine where the majority of the water is 4 or 5 foot deep. Your sows ain't gonna start doing that thing up there yet, but you may have a few male fish sniffing around with the water this high, but it really gets going whenever you get to the boat ramp and it's 57, 58. It's gonna be on in because you're gonna get a plus as the day goes on. But I think that spinner bait, your plastic baits, rattle trap's good right now, and it's about the bait. You got to find some bait.
You got to find bait. And I didn't see no bait Sunday when I was out there, so good luck. But Tommy Bridges was going Monday afternoon. I hadn't heard back from him, but that's what he was going to go look for bait.
Yeah.
All right, small game. Of course, we got the coon hunt coming up in February. Down in Jackson, Alabama. We'll talk a whole lot more about that later on. Alabama Hawking Association has got their meet and greet in Demopolis the same weekend. I got all the information for the 5th annual Macy Night Squirrel Hunt. We'll talk about that Friday morning. I hadn't got any information on the David K. Nelson Squirrel Hunt. Todd Prater, if you own here, tell me if they set a date for that. But right now, squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, small game hunting ought to be wide open right now. It ain't a leaf on the tree, and it ought to really be good. I don't know if, well, Joe Allen and Scott and Dixie and Peanut and those Slayer, those dogs ain't nothing but just house dogs now. Yep. Spent all that money on a squirrel dog and ain't even never took them squirrel hunting. I don't know what to think about that. Deer season, the rut's wide open. I got a text today. Everybody wanting to know what the deer doing. Wilcox Academy had their big hunt. They had a great hunt this weekend. Killed, I think, 80-something deer. Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, it was just people sending me picture after picture after picture. It was a great weekend to kill deer, and I think right now is the prime time for deer. What you hearing out the mill?
Well, like last week, Clark County was still running a little behind. There was still people getting pictures, bucks together and stuff like that. But I think that it wasn't a real hard cold change, but we did have this front come through, and I think it's really starting to get it going. That I've always felt like the length of the days is what really gets it going, and we had some pretty weather, and it took longer for it to get dark, and I think that kind of got it going, and but that they are starting to bust up, and seeing the prettiest pictures this year on your page, bucks. It's been a lot of good bucks killed this year.
It sure has.
A lot of chilling.
Bunch of good. Duck hunting. Jessica Brooks sent me a picture the other day of a Godwall she killed. A lot of big ducks being killed out there on Millers Ferry now. And Colton Hank Smith, he had a banded duck he killed in he said on the north end of the Alabama River. So I reckon it was up there where y'all had that crappie fishing tournament the other day. But it's been a pretty good duck season. I see a lot of these young boys duck hunting.
I see a lot in Demopolis. I like to see them kids get out there, though. They're pretty respectful. They do. They're real nice kids. I seen some Sunday morning they were actually pulling out, but there's they got them some boats and they got dogs. They out there doing.
Yeah, and they carrying the girlfriends out there with them. So
I see them on the way to work in the morning. They'll be all at the store right there. The girlfriend you didn't look as excited as a guy.
No, it was cold. Even Sunday morning it was still cold. It was 26, 27 degrees. So it was still cold.
Ryan said the second week in January in Clark County is always about when it kicks off. Kev.
Yeah, but it's always a little behind. I always hunted up in the Black Belt, like around up there, them deer up there, like the first week of January. Sometimes you'll see them pawing the ground. They're Denise on.
Look who just tuned in. Hey
Denise. That they be pawing the ground, stuff like that. That was always my tale. You seeing clean scrapes everywhere, then he ain't paying attention to those yet. He's still marking his ground.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you come by and it's leaves in that scrape and he ain't tending to it no more. You will go on knock safety, y'all. He's every time you see a doe, there'll be one running him.
What about rodeo? We got rodeo coming up March. Let me ask you this: is Brody practicing
every day?
Right.
We still waiting on his rig. It ain't come in. I called him again the other day. His dadgum about to get aggravated. I ordered that thing in September. They had a rawhide shortage. They said so. Anyway, they told me Friday it was shipping this week, but it ain't come yet. But anyway, he's been practicing, got his new brace and all, and school started back. Hopefully they finna get some horses. They last year they got them some practice horses. Hopefully they be getting horses soon and get everything back rolling.
All right, let me tell y'all. Joe Allen called me the other day, and he said the world's fixing to come to an end because Bubba has done put everything in Dunn Sports on sale: bullets, rifles, pistols, shotguns, clothes. I saw he had one of them big old $600 cooking pots on sale for $450.
I saw that on Facebook. So I saw that.
Everything at Dunn Sports is on sale. So,
February 18th.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
February the 18th. That's the same weekend as the coon hunt, the same weekend
as the jugging tournament.
The jugging tournament, the same weekend as the hawking meet and greet.
Well, it's gonna be hard for me to get the money from all of them.
Out of Marengo County, Clark County, Wilcox County, and Dallas County is gonna be getting outdoors on February the 18th. Yeah, Bubba did do that, Ryan. He's got everything on. They had them Glock pistols, and I think they done sold all them.
Yeah.
But if y'all in the market for anything in the outdoor gear, check them out at Dunn Sports because they got everything on sale. At Captain Troy, Miss
What's
Becky
up, Captain
said,
Troy?
Hey, tell Miss Becky I said hello. Hello,
them horses
Karen
we
and
had the other day, them things was fine.
You ain't lying, son. We ain't lying. I got your pine trees coming too. Troy wanted a few pine trees, and we planting pine trees right now, and I'll get them for you, Captain Troy. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Anything else, Shane? You
No, I'm trying to cut my phone off. That group message I'm in, it is blowing up. I'm trying to put it on silent right now.
I watched Stacey Gaston's podcast last night.
Yeah, he had
he had a pro on there. I can't remember his name. He had two guys on there. But this guy here, he was throwing out his information, and they got kind of sidetracked on it. Everybody had a lot of questions on it, and he crappie fishes too. He's a guide, and but he has went to his hook. He still ties, but everything else in his turn, he is using crimps on little line, big line, stuff like that. You know, he said I can make leaders. He said I can. I got a client trip like that. You know, he said I got them rigged back up and they back fishing. He said, and I'm using like on 75-pound catfish. He said, I've yet to have one pull out. He said I can crimp that thing and cut that tag off at the crimp. And the question that nobody asked that I'm gonna try to find him on Facebook and ask him is, can you take braid and do a crimp on it? Because like I know, like sometimes if you're rigging up a Carolina rig or rigging a jug up and you're trying to tie a Palomar knot on your middle of your rigging right there, and you're trying to go over the jug and all that stuff, you got to make a loop so big, But I was real interested in that, and he said on his even crappie fishing, he said
they do. Kevin, they pre-rig the people that use long rods. They'll pre-rig those. The weight and the bobber stops and the hook, they'll have them already wrapped up. So all you got to do is tie, unit knot, and you're gone.
That's right.
You don't have to use a swivel. It's not a crimp, but they do rig them up.
And Joe Allen always he got some little boxes that look like when you open it up, it looks like teeth sticking up to wrap his rigs up in when we're trolling and snapper fishing too. But that I was really interested in that crimp thing, and he said that he had been experimenting with it, and he said that he had bought some cheap pliers, and he said, and sometimes he'd crimp one, didn't like the way it looked, and he wouldn't use it. But he said he went to some good pliers and said he ain't had a bad crimp, and said the ones the sleeves he was buying was like for catfishing were 50 to 80 pounds. So it's not like you got to get one for every size line,
Right. So you can actually squeeze it in tight enough to hold it.
That's right. And if you could do that on braid,
braid doesn't, it doesn't slide, it doesn't slide. It slides a little more because it's a little slicker, but it ain't one way to find out.
That's right. That's right.
If you did that on braid and then you put your, you had 8-pound braid and then you put you a 10-pound fluorocarbon like while you crappie fishing, and then that would be nice where if you broke your fluorocarbon off, all you had to do is put you another, tie back to your loop you made with your crimp,
Michael said his name's Tommy Vaughn.
Tommy Vaughn, that's it. Yes, yes.
There you go. That'll help you out right there.
Yeah.
All right, Shane, before we go, I understand you done signed up with a new sponsor this week.
Yeah, I was going to tell everybody, I had a sunglass guy from Texas call me. He works for a Waterland company. They make some nice glasses. He asked me, did I have a glass sponsor? I said, buddy, I'm typical male. I'm going to use the glasses and scratch them up, throw them away. And he goes, well, we worked out a deal. And if you type in bucks, when you order them, you get, I think it's 15%. So just typing that in will save you. So basically you get their top glasses for $125. So
yeah. What's the name of the company?
Waterland Company.
Okay.
Waterland. Yeah. It's, they make a bunch of different styles. They're really light. I used to have a pair a while back. I bought when it's probably been a year ago, and I used them for a while. Then they got scratched up, and I threw them away. That's a lot of them glasses. It's got polycarbonate lens. You're gonna do that, but for $125, you get some really nice glasses. So
the only thing, I'll check them out. They don't have no cheetah glasses.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I need to call the guy and see. He's a real nice guy.
They need to add that to their
But
line.
now the David bought some sticker cheaters, and they were designed to go on the outside of your glass. They look terrible. Yeah. Well, I got to set up and put them on the inside, and they still work on the inside.
Okay. Hey, that may be an idea. Like I said, you save 15% by typing Bucks, BUCKS. I mean, it's named after my guide service, and people buy sunglasses. I buy sunglasses. I keep an extra pair because Billy left his Sunday.
Yeah.
Hey, I said, it's gonna
be. I will put that information in the details of this podcast. So
it's
type in Bucks and get 15% off.
Like I said, I try to do business with people that want to support me, and I got to buy glasses anyway. And heck, that guy was super nice. He reached out to me through Instagram. I don't know him from Adam, to be honest with you, but we had a long conversation, and we're gonna be using their glasses, man. I'm waiting on a pair to come here right now. Kevin, they got some new ones called bed fishers. They're going to be totally wrapped. There's going to be no light coming through.
Oh yeah.
They look. I don't say they look like a goggle, but Milliken Fishin's wearing them right now. That's who he's sponsored by. Milliken out of Texas, but they're called bed fishers. We'll have to get you a pair of them but they don't allow any light to come in. They got side guards.
Well, I think that too. Looking at your live scope where you don't have a glare in your glasses, that'll help. That'll help.
That's what he's gonna. When they come out, I'll be sure to let everybody know that discount will be on those too.
Yeah,
that's going to be kind of a game changer as far as live scope because if the sun's at your back, it does get on your screen and gets in your corner of your eye. Yeah. So
sure does.
But yeah, we sure will. I'll let everybody know when I find out when they come out.
We had to do a little video with the glasses where you can see how the difference.
I was telling Big Daddy I'm fixing to set up another camera angle on my live scope itself. And I'm going to take out laser pointer or pen like this, and I'm going to point out what fish that is.
Yeah.
What type of fish, what I'm throwing. You're going to see my jig because people are telling me they don't want to see me catch them. They will know what I'm looking at. So if they can learn, we'll do like an educational portion. I'll put out a couple videos where all you're going to see is that live scope.
Yeah.
And, anybody that's interested in it are going to pay attention to it. They want to see that carp or that stripe.
I'll be paying attention.
That's what we're going to do the next segment. I'm picking up a new camera tomorrow, matter of fact.
All right. Shane, thank you so much for being here. Good luck this weekend. And you and Eric, y'all, I'm sure y'all going to make a good show.
We're going to have a good time.
Weekend. Kevin, thank you. Joe Allen will be back next week, I hope, with a good report.
Clean bill of health.
Yeah, and get him back going. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We had a great crowd on here tonight. And Ryan Gunn said he wants a pair of them glasses. Remember to type in Bucks.
That's all you got to type in. Look on Waterland Company. It's I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's Waterland before we go. It's Waterland. I don't want to tell nobody wrong. Excuse me. It's
Waterland. One word.
That's Waterland. Waterland Companies. WaterlandCO.com. So you type in Waterland Company, it's going to pull it right up. As soon as you type in Waterland, it's coming.
And you type in Bucks.
When you check out, you type in Bucks, it's going to give you 15%. So it's going to save you the shipping or, $20. So basically you're going to get any glass they got, the highest one they got right now for like $125. So.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Great information tonight. I always enjoy talking with Shane and Kevin and Joe Allen about hunting and fishing in the great outdoors. See y'all next week. Stand by, Shane.
I will.
Pap taught me every critter's track and how to set a hair trigger on a trap. He taught me to shoot, scale, and skin and make a snare with a leather strap. He taught me to be a part of the woods and all his woodsy tricks. Said you gotta walk soft on 2 light feet and try not to break no stick. I thank Daddy for my savvy, how to hunt and how to carry anything that I might need to get a piece of skillet meat. How to walk and how to hide, how to crawl and how to slide, how to sneak, stalk and climb and do it all on 2 light feet.